On the 11th day of my trip, after visiting Cragganmore Distillery, my second stop was at Glenfiddich Distillery. The Glenfiddich Distillery was founded in 1886 by William Grant in the glen of the River Fiddich in the Speyside region of northern Scotland in Dufftown. The distillery began production on Christmas Day 1887. Kind of wonder if perhaps Santa's elves chipped in. Glenfiddich is one of the few single malt distilleries to remain entirely family owned and is currently managed by the fifth generation of William Grant's descendants. The name Glenfiddich means Valley of the Deer in Scottish Gaelic, which is why the Glenfiddich logo is a stag. Glenfiddich Distillery offers several tours at varying costs and lengths of time. Typically, the more in-depth tour, the longer the tour, which may in turn reduce how many distilleries you can visit in a day. I took their most in-depth, the Pioneer Tour, which goes for around 95 pounds, which is a half-day immersive experience designed for whiskey enthusiasts. This is an in-depth tour that offers insight into the marrying process in Warehouse 6 and the opportunity to bottle a 20 cl whiskey from the malt master's personal selection of casks. Finally, I was able to experience a nosing and tasting masterclass in the Grant family home featuring 5 Glenfiddich whiskeys matched with appetizers. The water source for Glenfiddich whiskey is the Robbie Dew Springs, nearby to the distillery, and you can taste the water from a copper water fountain. Once the spirit has matured, the casks are emptied and the whiskey is cut with pure Robbie Dew Spring water. Glenfiddich has a dedicated bottling hall on site, along with a large bottling plant in Belshell. Glenfiddich Distillery has 32 distinctively shaped swan neck copper pot stills. These stills are smaller than those now in use at most other major distilleries. All stills are handmade, and Glenfiddich employs a dedicated team of craftsmen and coppersmiths to maintain them. These stills have a capacity of around 13 million liters of spirit. Glenfiddich's spirit is matured in many different casks, such as rum casks from the Caribbean, bourbon whiskey barrels from America, and sherry butts from Jerez in Spain. Alrighty, I hope you've been following along and enjoying my sharing of my trip to Scotland and my notes on and photography of the various distilleries. One of the things that is such a great advantage about going to Scotland is there are some unique learning experiences available at different distilleries. I went to, for example, Glengoyne. If you saw that video, I was able to take a master class and blend my own whiskey, which I was able to bring home. So it's a real unique learning experience in terms of smelling and tasting the whiskeys and then blending them and then having that to take home. Something very unique, something you can't get anywhere else. When I took the class at the Scotch Whiskey Experience, I was again able to blend my own bottle, which I put in here. Then when I was at Glenfiddich, I took sort of the top of the line tour, which is called the Pioneers Tour. And you get to taste some whiskeys, but you also get to draw some whiskey from a barrel. You don't blend like you do here, but you do blend your own cask strength whiskey. And then they put a label on it, a hand label it. In fact, the kind of funny thing is the label is actually somewhat crooked because you put it right there on the spot, hand right on there as to what it is. This is dated, so it's June 25th, 2018. That was the date I visited the distillery. And the cask number is 8,380. It's cask strength 57.6. Bottle number 1,670. And then the type is it's a first fill sherry cask 1998. And then the gentleman who did the tour signed it to verify what it is right there. And then I put my own name on it. I named it the Sniper, which is sort of my nickname from the Scotch Test Dummies. I think Bart gave me that nickname. Anyway, there's a part of me
that is tempted to want to hold on to this as a souvenir and never drink it. But whiskey is for drinking, not just collecting. I understand there can be some very rare bottles that can be worth so much money that to drink them, it's hard to do that. But in my sharing of my photography, my video, I'm reliving my experience as I do the editing, go through it, and reliving it again, returning again to Glenfiddich and opening this bottle. So basically, we just drew from the cask, put it in the bottle, and then put the little cork in it, and then they sealed it. So I'm going to enjoy this very, 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 very much. I've been sick for the last week. I haven't had any whiskey in a week. And now I'm like back to normal. I also had an ear infection. You may have saw that NyQuil review video I did. I woke up this morning and was feeling a lot better. All right. So it's cask strength, unchill filtered, no E150 added. Really, really, really dark in color. That is dark, dark, dark amber, almost like the color of root beer. It's like brown. So that's 100% just straight from the cask. All right, on the nose. Wow. Dried black fruits, dates, raisin, fig. But there's also, it smells really sweet on the nose, like brown sugar, maple syrup, some crystallized honey. Wow. Vanilla, caramel, butterscotch. So it's cask strength. It's 57.6. And get my nose in there, and I'm not getting like any burning sensation. Man, it's just an absolutely beautiful nose. On the palate, it does have a bite. Wow. It is sweet. It is intense, unbelievably concentrated. Real nice evolution up front. Intense, concentrated of those dried black fruit notes, fig, dates, raisins. And then this real sweet brown sugar, maple syrup, a little bit of nuttiness actually. Baklava, that sort of nut and sugar and honey character to it. There's that crystallized honey. There is a maltiness to it, almost like a graham cracker character to it. Of course, after I get through the first couple sips, that bite really diminishes. An absolutely spectacular whiskey. And as I'm sitting here, or standing here, tasting this, I'm kind of going back into my mind when I was there. I really enjoyed the tour. The tour guide was awesome. Very knowledgeable, very hospitable, really able to engage and answer questions. The weather was absolutely fantastic. It was, I would say, when I was up in the Highlands, because it's such a different experience than being on Isla. It was probably one of the best tours up north. So if you get to go to Glenfiddich, you definitely want to do the Pioneers Tour. So unbelievably rich. And a really nice evolution. I'm still tasting it now. What I'm getting now is some sweet oak, crystallized honey, maple sugar. There's a honey and nuts character to it. I like almost like a graham cracker cereal. Absolutely fantastic. I I'm only sad that I couldn't bottle an even bigger bottle bring home a bigger bottle of it. This is absolutely fantastic. Really, really, really nice. But if you go visit Glenfiddich, by the time you get there, this cask may be gone. You may be pouring your own cask from a completely different cask, coming home with a completely different experience. But this is absolutely spectacular. All right, I hope you're enjoying these videos, and if you haven't subscribed already, please do. And if you want to be notified when I go live or when I post a new video, you're going to want to ring that bell. All right, until next time, cheers.
If you have benefited from my wine or whiskey studies and you wish to support this ongoing work, I ask that you become a Patreon supporter. The link to my Patreon account is in the description box below.